You are listening to Growing Up in America the Way It Is. This is a rebroadcast of our live episode, which airs every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Central on 90.1 FM KPFT Pacifica Radio here in Houston, Texas.
Looking out a dirty old window, down below the cars in the city go rushing by. I sit here alone and I wonder why. Friday night and everyone's moving. I can feel the heat, but it's...
Welcome to Growing Up in America here on KPFT Pacifica Radio. Bob Sanborn here along with Brian Greene. Brian from the Houston Food Bank. Brian, how you doing, man?
Well, everything's good. Getting to the latter part of the holiday season, things start to slow down.
Are there going to be kids hungry this holiday season, Brian?
Well, yeah, anytime school's not out, that actually puts additional pressure on the families.
Yeah.
And then, of course, with the holiday, people don't want to deprive their kids. And so they're trying to do things. And so the other compromises get made.
Yeah. Well, we'll be talking about a few of these things with Brian Greene with the Food Bank. And I'm Bob Sanborn, Children at Risk. And you're listening to Growing Up in America. On the program today, a bunch of really good people. Our Hip Speak will be on with Bree Derry. Your date of the day, 48%, Brian. I know you're going to be thinking about that. Our guest today, Danny Marrero High, is the Deputy Director at Lupe down in the Valley, La Unión del Pueblo Entero. They do some fantastic work. We'll be talking to Danny. Krystal Gomez, who's the Managing Attorney of the Texas Immigration Legal Council, will be with us. And she's out of Austin. We'll be talking with her about immigration law and policy in Texas. And then closing out the program today, our good buddy, Stephen Ives, will be here. He's the president and CEO of the YMCA of Greater Houston, talking about a number of things, including a little bit about mental illness with Stephen Ives. So should be a very good program today. Brian, as I know that you and I are also going to be doing the Holiday Spectacular, the 2-hour holiday show for KPFT. I think it's on either Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. I can't remember. We're pre-recording it, obviously.
Oh,
so.
Well, I look forward to that. Yes.
Yeah. Did you know you were doing that?
No, but I kind of each day. Oh, that's what my calendar is that day, and that's what I do.
I think we're recording like tomorrow, maybe, or Friday or something. And I'm looking forward to that because every year we do the Holiday Spectacular, and it's filled with lots of holiday music and people's favorite memories from. And I'm going to ask you right now: do you have a favorite holiday memory from when you were a kid?
Yeah, I remember when I got a skateboard.
A skateboard, wow.
I can't remember, but
because you were a California kid, very appropriate, right? So
I was in Northern California, where it wasn't very California-ish. But
okay.
Anyway, so yeah, getting that skateboard is, and getting older, so it wasn't so much the Christmas thing, but it was just such a neat thing, and I got so much enjoyment out of that for years.
Very good. I look forward to hearing more about the skateboard story when we get into our program. First up today on the program, right after the break, we're going to be talking with Danny Marrero High, the Deputy Director out at Lupe. Figure out what's going on down in the Valley. We'll be right back here on Growing Up in America. All right. Danny's not on yet, but Bree is on, and I know that Brian is just itching
to be humiliated
to do Hip Speak. And hey, Bree, I noticed that this whole idea of Hip Speak is becoming a bigger deal. I'm seeing it all over the media. You know, people are trying this whole idea of like what kids are saying these days and so forth. It's did you start this trend, Bree? I'm just wondering.
I mean, I am the trendiest gal you know, so of course.
Yeah, exactly. So
I have heard this attributed to Bree on Pacifica Radio. It's the why that's doing that.
The why. Very good. All right, Bree, are you going to, first off, is it on, which day is the Holiday Spectacular? Is it on Christmas Day here on KPFT or on Christmas Eve?
I believe it is Christmas Day for 2 hours at our usual time.
Okay. Oh, at our usual time. So like 9 to 11 sort of thing?
Exactly.
Okay.
You got it.
Very good. That's a good time to do it. I mean, people are opening the gifts. They want to hear sort of progressive Christmas music. holiday
Well, and it's
magic.
going to be so musical too. Like,
Yeah.
come on, it's the perfect background noise.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite? What's your favorite holiday song, Brian? Do you have one?
I don't know.
You don't know one?
Rudolph the Red-Nosed is what popped into my mind, but I don't know if that's
okay.
my favorite. That's not really.
Yeah. I like the Band-Aid. Do They Know It's Christmas? I like that. I like Christmas is Over or War is Over by John Lennon and Yoko Ono.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you're much more sophisticated in your answers.
Yeah. And well, I've been doing this for 20 years, so I can. But, I also love Feliz Navidad by Jose Feliciano.
Yeah,
right? So,
that's beautiful.
Fellow Puerto Rican. So
are these all songs that we're going to be playing on that day?
Yeah,
that's
will
nice.
be
Probably not a lot of Rudolph then. I keep thinking of the Schroeder song though. So Peanuts.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Someone is going to say Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It'll be played. So it's based upon every guest that we have on the show. They get to pick their favorite holiday music and then we'll play it. So there's a lot of those, Silent Night and but if someone repeats, like, let's say someone famous that we have on the show says, I like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And then later on someone else says it, we'll say, well, what's your second favorite? Because we're not going to repeat
Yeah,
the
that would
song.
be.
Yeah.
Nobody likes that.
Yeah.
All radio stations will do a rotation, but they don't put that within the same 2-hour frame. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's right. All right. What's our first song, Bree? Not song. What's our first?
Oh, that was a
Throw
good
me
one.
for a loop.
Yeah. I know. Sorry about that. What's the first word, Bree?
Excuse me. Now, before I go into our words today, I just have to acknowledge that 6-7 has turned our world upside down a little bit.
Yeah, 6-7.
It is in everything. And there's some trending stuff where it is becoming holiday songs, actually. So I might surprise you when we record and just toss one of those in there for fun.
Okay, good.
But
good.
Let's focus on the hip speak this week.
Okay.
And my first term for you is flow state. And it's going to be as well.
And what was the final thing you said?
Oh, it's going to throw you for a little bit of a loop.
Okay.
It is a reemergence of a term you're probably
flow
familiar
state. Okay. What are you thinking, Brian?
I mean, you just go with the flow. So, you're the kind of person that is
just want to go with the flow.
Yeah, you don't object.
I am thinking it's like being in the zone is what I'm thinking. You're in a flow state. You're just like everything is going your way. If you're playing basketball, you're hitting every basket. If you're writing, you're like, wow, I'm a good writer. I'm in a flow state. I don't know if that's the answer, Bree, but it should be.
You are right on the money there, Dr. Bob. So flow state is that historic term of like when you're writing and you hit your flow state and it's just coming easy, right? But the kids are using it in a different way now. Right. So everything nostalgic is returning, but they're using it in their own space. So really, this one is kind of like talking about the environment you're in to get into your flow state versus the activity you're doing. So for writers, they write and get into a flow state. But for the younger generation, they're like, they say, getting coffee with my friends puts me in a flow state. Or a rainy day puts me in a flow state kind of thing.
So it's sort of about the vibe, isn't it? I mean, that's a big part of it. Yeah. Which is another word that I would say a couple of years ago, Brian, we never used the word vibe. Yeah, it's a good vibe.
No, but I don't think it doesn't sound like vibe as much as cause. What is the cause of you hitting all your shots or writing real? Would that be correct, Bree?
It would absolutely be correct, Brian.
Yeah, okay, I got that much right.
If you're with the right team members, if you're on the right court.
Who make you feel good or that is your favorite court.
You're in a flow state. You're just having a good old time, right?
So like you guys hosting today, total flow state, I assume.
Flow state.
Putting all the listeners in a flow state would be what I'm saying. Yeah.
When Brian is on, everyone does sort of, we hear this, like good flow state. So, and we have to have a good flow state is just in the company because the vibe at the station is not there. But I think that, so anyway.
Shots fired.
No. But I think the company though, right, having Rico and Awala produce, that puts us in the flow state. So there you go.
Exactly. Yeah. It's all about the people you surround yourself with.
Yeah, exactly. All right. What's our next one?
Okay. So this one is fun, I think. It is chipped. And you can use it as, bro, stop glazing. They're literally chipped.
As in CHICKED?
No, chipped.
Oh,
chipped.
like
chipped.
Chipped. Oh.
Yeah, 2 P's. Chipped. If I remembered the word glazing.
Well, you chip your dog.
Oh, that's a microchip.
Yeah. I wonder if that's somehow in there.
Mm-hmm. I think it's like you're sort of you're just not hitting. You're not 100% if you're chipped.
Oh, like a chip shot.
Yeah, or
Or,
like
no,
like
that's chip sauce good.
No, like if you're, it could be that, but I'm thinking it's like if you have a mug and there's a little chip out of it or something, so it's just not 100%.
I was envisioning that little like teacup that's chipped from Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Honestly. Yeah. Dr. Bob, you were so right. You're on fire today. So actually, it does mean average.
Oh, chipped is average?
Mm-hmm. Average, not 100%, nothing amazing. And so that little sentence I used earlier, bro, stop glazing, they're literally chipped, means stop gassing them up, stop, overly gushing about how awesome they are. They're just average.
Oh.
And how does going back to the teacup with it's a nice teacup. Oh, but it's got a chip in it. Is that what you?
So it makes it average, yeah.
That makes it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing special, basically.
Nothing special. Yeah.
Would be good, but
I think Bree was
flawed.
being a little nice to me as well. So just saying, So,
is it performance review time?
So it's sort of like
it might be.
It's sort of like a meh. Is meh average, or is meh is a little bit below average though, isn't it?
I use meh. I would say I use it as below average usually.
Yeah, I think that's right. It's just meh. Yeah, it's just not as good as you want it to be. While chipped is average.
Yep.
Okay.
You got it. Are we ready for our third word? It's really gonna trip you up, I think, actually.
Okay. All righty.
That one.
All right.
Okay.
Saving the best for last always. Your final word is glazed.
Oh, you just used that one. So
actually, I emphasize the ED because it's different.
Oh. Glazed is okay. So glazed.
So a glazed donut is delicious. I know that much.
That's right. And a hot glazed donut is even more delicious.
Glazed as in stoned would not be a positive thing. So I don't think that's going to be
sort of passe.
Yeah.
I think that's passe. That's old school. And if you don't know, Brian is from Humboldt County, California, which is a lot of glazing going on there.
That was known as the marijuana capital of America for a long time. Yeah.
And Brian would absolutely know that.
Well, I grew up there. You could not know that. So I'm going to go, though, with the whole donut. It's like, you got something that's good, and then you add a glaze to it, and now it's just awesome.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's mine.
Yeah. I'm just going to say, because you emphasized the ED, I'm going to say, like, they were good. I mean, so glazing, as I understand it, is like sort of, propping something up or sort of saying how good it is, right? But glazed is like something that's maybe not as good. I don't know. I'm at a loss here, Bree. You're gonna have to help us.
All right, let me define both of those terms. We'll start with glazed.
Okay.
So Brian was 1,000% right. It is
Look at that,
good,
Brian.
it's cool, you're dripping, etc. So a good way to use this is your outfit is glazed. I love it.
There we go.
Whereas
you don't have to go any further. I just saying that I'm right. We're done with that one.
Yeah.
That's good.
But here's the deal.
And segment over.
No one in the history of Brian Greene has ever said that he dresses well. So they would never say glazed. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
I was disappointed when they discontinued Granimals, because that's when I was no longer able to match clothes as once those were gone.
No one knows what you're talking about, Brian. Okay. Go on. What were you going to say, Bree?
So, and when we think about glazing, actually, you're pretty close, Dr. Bob, but it's kind of like complimenting to being annoying almost. Like you're just really being obnoxious with it.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, the beta wolf saying to the alpha wolf, like, oh my God, you're so cool, kind of thing.
Okay. Very good. I feel like when we listen to Bree, like she's just spouting off hip speak, right? I mean, it's like everything, she's just so hip in the way she speaks. So.
The best part is I can toss in all these terms and you won't even know if they're real or not. I can toss in frindle and, it'll just be a thing.
We have no idea. Is frindle a thing?
You never read that book? It was fantastic.
Frindle. I don't know the book Frindle.
What book?
What is the book Frindle?
It is a book I read, I think, in junior high. And this kid is just like, I want to name a pen something different. And he starts using frindle, but he uses it confidently and all the time. And eventually it like becomes 6-7, where everybody's saying it. Everybody's referring to it this way.
Yeah.
And you just kind of start a trend by doing something new.
What's the one in the movie? What is the movie? Mean Girls. It's like so fetch, right? That's the other one. Yeah. Trying to create.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, Brian is looking
Yeah,
at
I
me
just
with
like
a blank face. He doesn't know.
I don't know that one.
Hey, Rico, do we have our next guest? No next guest. Well, we're going to keep you on here, Bree. Bree, I want you to tell us a little bit more about what we should expect with the Holiday Spectacular.
Yeah, I'm so excited. So it is going to be 2 hours of course, our Flow State hosts right here. And they're going to be chatting with a bunch of different guests, all of our favorite regulars, a few fun surprise ones. I can't wait to see your face, Dr. Bob.
Oh, good.
I will be wearing antlers for those who see me on the screen. It's going to be a good time, very festive. And we'll just be going through all of our favorite holiday music, asking folks about their favorite holiday memories, their favorite holiday songs. And then there's even a fun surprise interlude from one of our favorite other co-hosts. Nothing compares to you, Brian, but Mandy Kimball is going to come on and kind of play a little game with Dr. Bob and just guess the lyrics, really. And it's a good time.
Okay. All right. Very good.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, very good.
Right?
Hey, thank you so much, Bree. Bree Derry is our hip speak expert, and she's one of the producers of the radio show, so she does a really nice job sort of getting the word out around children's causes here. And Bree, as we reach the sort of the end of the year, I want to thank you for all of your hard work. You and your team are just always doing the right thing for children across the state of Texas and across the country. And thank you very much. You're one of the reasons why Growing Up in America is successful and one of the reasons why Children at Risk is successful. So I want to thank you very much.
Aw, you got me blushing. I'm always happy to be here. Thank you, Dr. Bob.
Good. All right. We'll see you next time, Bree.
So since I've got you, I was meeting with Ryan with the Brown Foundation yesterday, and I mentioned that one of the concerns that we have is we make hot meals for after-school programs.
Yeah, sure.
We're getting less and less demand because more and more of these programs are shutting down, especially the ones that are being run by schools, as they're just getting canceled. And it's like, this can't be good.
Yeah.
So, is this something that's just going to keep going on? And do you have any thoughts on what are the consequences?
Yeah, I wonder, because of sort of cutbacks around school lunches and school breakfast, I wonder if the after school snacks is one of the things, so that schools are sort of having to come up with a little bit of extra money, and which they don't have. I mean, that could be one of the reasons.
Well, so it's not the food part, because we do our primary motive for doing the after school meals is to encourage the kid to stay in the after school program.
Yeah.
Because you have like YMCA, Boys and Girls Clubs, they can document how the kids participating in the programs are more likely to graduate, et cetera. But my concern is that the programs themselves are just being dropped by the wayside. And there were so many partners, particularly working with schools on their own programs, that, we're just not doing it now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is, I guess, funding tight?
Yeah, I think funding is very tight, and anything that's, there's very little state money for after school programs, a lot of federal money. So whenever we see the federal government cutting back, it's going to have, especially, sort of low income schools, there's been a lot of cutbacks there. And state money, remember, has been missing for the last 4 years, right? The state sort of held back a lot of funding as well. So, it's, what we know, though, is that this is a real shame, because the kids that you are serving, Brian, and the kids that serve in these after school programs serve are the very kids, 65% of all the kids in Texas growing up in low income households. These are the kids that need these high quality after school programs to truly be successful, to really be productive in our workforce. And if we're not doing this, we're sort of relegating them to sort of a lower income area,
Yeah. And especially, not to rant more about, just the screens, the consequences, is doing activities that are providing that more fundamental brain development than, the passive watching stuff on a phone.
Yeah.
So, wow, it seems very short-sighted. So anyway, so Ryan with the Brown Foundation was just saying, they're concerned about it, but they're worried that are we going to step and do that? Well, then it just becomes, philanthropy will deal with this.
No, they can't. And this is an interesting point that I'm glad you brought up, because I don't think we've talked about this enough, is that philanthropy, can do quite a bit, but they can't replace federal dollars or state dollars, public dollars. Then that amount is so high, right? And so when we talk about the safety net for our children and for families, philanthropy can't replace all the federal money that's been cut. So children and families are going to suffer, right? And you hear people all the time, especially you, Brian. Well, you'll hear people say, "Do we need SNAP? We have a really good food bank.
Yeah.
You know, do we need supplemental nutrition assistance because we have a good food bank?" Well, the answer is you can never replace SNAP.
Yeah, SNAP is actually 9 times the size of all of our output.
Yeah.
And that's true just all across the country. You add up all the food bank's output, it's like, 1/9 of what SNAP does. And so we are supplemental to kind of catch the people. We're trying as best we can, not fully, the people who fall through the safety net.
Mm-hmm.
And I think your point about philanthropy replacing is really important to get. Is as much as we're very proud of our charitable sector, philanthropy is 2% of GDP.
Mm-hmm.
So and it gets really chopped up. The largest share goes to churches, which is overwhelming. People are paying for their church services in the building and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's not going to programs. And then generally is like healthcare. I think it's generally number 2. Which is that's good. But by the time you get to the social services, it's like 11% on average of that 2%.
Yeah.
So basically, 0.2% of GDP is that, the philanthropy going to social services to try and do this kind of makeup work. And it's like, wow, it's useful.
Yeah.
But no way does it compare to what we do with government dollars.
Yeah. Are you having this conversation with philanthropy a lot around sort of the replacement and the pressure that they're feeling around replacing federal dollars?
Not too much. It was, every foundation, every giver, they have their areas of emphasis, and it was just a conversation. Oh, this made sense for me to point out. Yeah, this is a phenomenon that we're watching just because we work with so many of these after school programs and watching them go away, which is why we're very, grateful for organizations like YMCA and Boys and Girls Clubs and kind of like sticking with it.
Yeah.
Because again, they're using philanthropy dollars to do this. But watching the government just step further and further away is really disappointing.
Yeah. Coming up after this quick musical break, Kim Coffrin is going to be joining us. Kim Coffrin is one of the experts on early education in the state of Texas, and we'll be talking early education in Houston and across the state of Texas. We'll be right back here on Growing Up in America.
No sea cosa que la acuse de ilegal. José de los jardines parecen de Disneyland. Maneja una troca vieja sin la licencia. No importa si fue taxista.
All right, you're listening to Growing Up in America on KPFT Pacifica Radio. Brian Greene from the Houston Food Bank, Bob Sanborn from Children at Risk. We're both here. And joining us is Kim Coffrin. She's the Senior Director of Education and a state expert on early education at Children at Risk. Kim, how you doing today?
I'm well this morning, Dr. Bob. How are you guys?
Very good. I'm heading over to Austin this afternoon. I know you're over there, and I guess we're going to be having happy hour together. Is that correct, Kim?
Someone has to do it.
Someone has to have happy hour. But I think a whole slew of folks are going to be joining us, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yes.
So,
we are too.
Not that having happy hour with just you would not be enjoyable in and of it itself, right? Kim,
I didn't know happy hour was on at 11 o'clock.
We're going to wait till after lunch. We're going to
It's always
be
5
self-controlled.
o'clock. It's always 5 o'clock somewhere, Brian. You know this.
Right.
So, Kim, I wanted to ask you, and you may be on our holiday spectacular, but do you have a favorite Christmas or holiday song?
Oh, so the one that always makes me laugh, because I remember just singing it at the top of our lungs with my kids is I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas, because they always thought that was funny. And they always played it, as we were driving to school. The radio stations always played it, at that time. So that always is a fun one because it just makes me share that funny memory.
I don't know that one.
You don't know that one?
No.
It's one of the all-time hits. So
I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas?
Yeah.
Actually, I'd never heard of it until Mandy one year. That was her favorite song. And so we got to hear it on the air. So, hey, Kim, when you think about holiday wishes for children around early education, what is your big holiday wish?
Oh, that's a good question, Dr. Bob. I think, obviously, I think my automatic heart goes to just that they are all in loving families with food and shelter and,
Mhm.
everything that they need. It's probably my first thing. And then, when I think about children in Texas and specifically in early childhood education piece,
Yeah.
is really having an high quality early childhood programs for children for all families that can choose what they need for their family and make it work. And we're lacking that here in the state, and so that's my wish.
When, one of the things that you do is you do these Texas tours and you go around the state. I used to go on them. I haven't been on one of those in a couple of years, but you visit with communities and to talk about early education. And one of the things that we've done is we've identified sort of the early childhood education deserts across our state. Those places where if you wanted to find affordable early childhood education, childcare, get a subsidy and put your kid in high quality, you're unable. Talk a little bit about some of these deserts that we find in our state.
Yeah, so these deserts are communities that have a lack of childcare based on the number of children that are living in that community. And they're across the state. We have like 400 and over 400 uh, deserts across the state
Wow.
for overall. And then when we start looking at the quality number, that number is, double that size.
Mm.
And so parents really have a hard time, and that's just looking at seats. That's just looking at counting the number of seats that are available. That doesn't get into the affordability piece of things, right? So when
Yeah.
you just looking at the supply piece, we know those numbers are not what parents need, and those deserts, confound themselves in low income communities. And so, and actually, we are in the process of doing the analysis for 2025 that will be out later in early 2026. And one of the things we're looking at adding this year is chronic childcare deserts. Where are these communities that have been deserts for more than 3 years?
Oh, wow.
And what does that say about communities and what supports need to be put into those communities? And so we can start asking the question of why. What's happening in these communities, and what are the need? What are their needs to fix that?
Brian.
Kim, first I need to make sure I'm distinguishing between childcare and preschool. When you say childcare deserts, are you saying preschool deserts, or, oh, here's a place I can take my kid while I've got some extra thing?
That's a very good question and very nuanced, Brian. Um, so when we think about childcare, and they're really kind of interchangeable. When we think about childcare, it's kind of that whole space between 0 to 5, and that and really childcare goes even to after school programs, and summer programs. Preschool is very designated to uh that 3 and 4 year old place. Both programs can have high quality programs. Programs can get you ready for have the child be prepared for kindergarten, and set them up for academic success. So it really just depends. It's more about the hours of the day than the type of program.
Kim, I want to ask you about one thing, sort of as a final question. Then we have Krystal Gomez is on the line. We're going to go to her, but I'm wondering, Travis County, so the county that Austin is in, passed an initiative was it last January that the initiative was
Last
passed?
November.
Last
Yeah, so
November.
November of 24. Yep.
November of 24. Basically, doing property tax, like a couple cents out of
hmm
property tax goes towards early childhood education and after school programs. Have you seen any progress there, or is it still too early? And what does that look like right now?
Yeah, so Travis County passed this. Those of us that have been in the field for a while kind of remember San Antonio did this about 10 years ago with
Yeah.
pre-K for essay. Uh, 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 Travis County did it last November. They're just starting to get that implementation off the ground here at Travis County.
Yeah.
And so we're anxious to see that rolling out, and actually families being able to see the effects of that, and really looking at that piece. But when we think about financing, and kind of your conversation earlier with the food banks and philanthropy and government, where does that all sit? You know, currently we rely 100% on the federal government to support childcare. They aren't doing enough and need to do more. But we know our state needs to do more, and we also need to look at our local governments and our local communities. And I know other communities across Texas are having these conversations about what can they do. And there are other communities that haven't even thought about it yet. So we need to continue to have those conversations both at all three levels, at that local, state, and federal level, of how to support childcare, because families are struggling, and childcare is expensive. It's a people business, and that's just the way it is. But we can do a lot more to help out families.
There's a lot of movement across the country to say, that early education childcare is very important. And we see municipalities saying, hey, universal childcare, trying to make sure that anyone who wants to enter the workforce has high quality childcare. Is the day going to come in Texas sometime in the next 10 years where every major metropolitan area and even sort of medium sized cities has some sort of form of subsidized childcare for people in Texas?
That is my hope and dream. So
Yeah.
yeah, our neighbors to the west, New Mexico, have just passed universal child care for the whole
Yeah.
state.
Yeah.
Granted, they're a lot smaller than we are.
Yeah.
But it can be done, right? And other communities and states across the country are doing it. And yeah, it's flipping that switch to think about that early childhood space as a public good, when it's not only helping children get ready for school, and language development and social development and all the things that need to happen before they go into our public's more formal education. But it also helps parents go to work, and it helps our economy, right? So, I mean, parents need those choices to make the choices for their families.
Kim Coffrin is with Children at Risk. She's the Senior Director of Education and an expert on early education in Texas. Thank you, Kim, very much. Happy holidays. I'll see you later this afternoon, Kim.
Sounds good, Dr. Bob. You guys too. Happy holidays.
All righty.
Happy holidays.
Hey, after this quick musical break, Krystal Gomez is going to be joining us. She's the managing attorney over at the Texas Immigration Legal Counsel. We'll be talking about immigration and policy in Texas. We'll be right back here on Growing Up in America.
Pills to swallow, how they stick in your throat, taste like gold.
All right, we're back. Bob Sanborn here from Children at Risk, along with Brian Greene from the Houston Food Bank. And you're listening to Growing Up in America. Krystal Gomez is on the line with us. Krystal is the managing attorney over at the Texas Immigration Legal Counsel in Austin. Krystal, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, happy holidays.
Happy holiday. Yeah.
Hey, Krystal, it's not necessarily a happy holiday for those families that have an immigrant in their family, whether they're here, whether they're documented or not. We find Latino families, any family of sort of foreign origin, is having a little bit of a difficult time right now. They've been demonized by many in our country. What are you seeing from your perspective, the impact on families and the impact on children, Krystal?
That's a really good question. What we've been seeing, and I think it started on day one of this administration, with the rescission of the Sensitive Spaces memo, which originally had been put into place to ensure that places that children gather were protected from possible ICE enforcement. So places like schools and rec centers and early childhood preschool centers and things like that had traditionally been off limits for ICE enforcement activities for multiple presidential administrations until January 20th of this year. And on that day, that was rescinded, and that just means that now everywhere is open season, and that fear has really seeped its way into families. There are folks who are afraid of sending kids to school. Some communities have definitely seen a drop in attendance, and families aren't leaving their house, and so local economies are being impacted. And that has sort of kept up with various policies that have come on board online since January.
We've seen an attack on DACA, which lots of DACA folks have families now or were children themselves at one point when they entered the country. So,
yeah, it's tough. Brian?
Yeah, so it's churches, hospitals, as
Everything
well.
that where we used to be safe, right?
Yeah, they're explicitly called out as safe zones before. Now we've certainly noticed this with our partners, where there was definitely a dip. People, is this safe? Fortunately, the local churches, I think that the sense of safety, just because that they haven't been really targeted here.
Yeah,
they have been elsewhere.
But not here.
But so far, not Texas. It's interesting. Texas, is in terms of deportations, we're leading the nation by a lot.
Yeah.
But in terms of that sort of deliberately doing these really high profile, scare everybody activities, that's not what's happening in Texas, which is strange. And Kim, are you familiar with this phenomena about Krystal?
Yeah.
Of what how the law is being applied here versus elsewhere?
Yeah, so one big difference between, say, Texas and California and Texas and Illinois and some of these places where we've seen a lot of ICE enforcement is that Texas is cooperating with the federal government, whereas California has been trying to protect its residents and protect its citizens as much as possible. So places like Texas, we see a lot of actual deportations because ICE essentially has a force multiplier in our Texas DPS who signed a 287G agreement with ICE to do ICE enforcement in the streets. And we just passed a law during the last legislative session that'll make it so that every county that operates a county jail in Texas will have to enter into one of these 287G agreements by December 1st, 2026. So it might get worse going forward as these counties kind of come online to do a certain amount of immigration enforcement work with their local sheriff departments.
Is there starting to be enough pushback, though, that that they're backing down from doing? I mean, there's a point at where everybody's going to see the negative consequences. Are we getting close enough there that the sort of people who initially supported this are saying, no, this is going too far?
I do think we're seeing that. I don't know if it's enough to change or, to roll back the tide, but I have definitely been having conversations with folks in rural, very red parts of the state who thought that they were voting for mass deportation and thought they understood what that meant. But now, as it impacts their workforce, as it impacts their local economies, are rethinking that as a priority.
Yeah, one of the things, Krystal, that you and I have talked about this idea that we have not seen raids anywhere in the country in daycare centers or in schools, right? I think there was one instance where one person was chased into a daycare center, but there's been no sort of specific raids. Now, that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. And I think that is the underlying worry for all of us, right? Is that it still could happen. And so that means everyone is still very worried about things. The other worry that I have, and I'd love to hear what you think, is that because in many ways, ICE is still ramping up, right? They just received more money from the federal government to sort of hire more people. We see these ads on TV and on the radio to hire people. And so they're ramping up. Is that going to mean more, even though we see sort of the general public sort of pushing back a little bit more than they were at the beginning?
Yeah, that's my fear too, is that more resources mean more boots on the ground. It means more like folks with nothing to do, except, troll spaces. And so one of the things we've seen, it hasn't been like raids in schools, but we have seen targeted enforcement happening in schools. So immigration officers looking for people who entered the country as children and who are about to age out. Who are 17, let's say they've been released, and try to take them back into custody around their 18th birthdays. And we've seen that happening in high schools.
Wow. That's horrible.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, the other phenomenon that is, I'm just not hearing this reported much, but have experienced this numerous times at the food bank, is people who are legal and are being made illegal. So they're just, visa's not getting renewed.
Mm.
And Houston has a very large population of people that have work visas. And we've lost, it's either 3 or 4 employees since the beginning of this year for that very reason is just they're just stopped working with the countries, and suddenly, wow, you've been doing this for years. You're on your way to citizenship.
Wow.
Nope, no more.
You seeing a lot of that, Krystal?
Yes, this administration has been really making moves to end certain legal types of immigration statuses. So we've seen like the rescission of the humanitarian parole for Cubans, Haitians, and Nicaraguans and Venezuelans. That limited people's employment abilities. But in addition to that, there's also internal policies that have come in, that have been changed. Like USCIS has stopped its practice of extending visa validity or work employment authorization for people who have a pending application to renew. So instead of you being able to use your receipt notice showing, yes, I've already applied to renew my work employment authorization document, those folks are just out of status until the new one comes in, which could take forever. And so USCIS has moved a lot of their officers into enforcement instead of processing, applications, proactive applications or affirmative applications. And so these backlogs are taking a really long time, and people are out of status between those times between one work card expires and the next one renews.
Wow. Krystal, as we finish up, I'm going to ask you sort of a fun question. So do you have a favorite holiday song, by the way?
Oh, man, I do have a favorite holiday song.
What is it?
I'm a Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas person.
Oh,
yeah.
Have yourself there you go. Brian, did you want to join in and sing? I don't
No, I'll let you take care of that.
Krystal, thank you so much for everything that you and your team are doing, not only during the holiday season, but each and every day. I mean, the work that's happening at the Texas Immigration Legal Council is fantastic. So thank you so very, very much, and hope to work with you more closely. And Krystal, you need to be back on the show. You need to be a regular. Are you up for it?
I'm up for it. Sounds fun.
There you go. Krystal Gomez, Texas Immigration Legal Counsel. Happy holidays,
you all.
Krystal. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All righty,
Bye.
take care. You're listening to Growing Up in America on KPFT Pacifica Radio. Up next, we have Dr. Data coming up. We'll take this quick musical break, and we'll be back here on Growing Up in America. Chris Gillespie is with us. He's our own Dr. Data. He's out of the Baker Institute at Rice University. Chris, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Very good. Okay, tell us, what's the number of the day today?
Today is 48%.
48%.
Any guesses?
Yeah, what are you guessing, Brian?
Yeah, well, this one was correct, whether it's right or not. That is a proportion of the population that is unhappy after every election.
Oh, really? 40. Oh my word, Brian.
So it actually does capture unhappiness.
Okay,
I'll
go
give
ahead.
you that.
Give us,
So
what's the
so
answer?
48% of Gen Z employees have posted negatively about their jobs on social media.
Wow.
So this is the
Oh,
percentage
wow.
of Gen Zers that are openly griping about their employment on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever it might be, or I guess X now.
Do they have, for a long time we used to make people used to make fun of millennials. Is this sort of the deal with Gen Z? Are they just sort of perennially unhappy? Is that part of the deal?
Yeah, so it's much higher than the overall population. So the overall population is about 34%. And this is kind of representing a bit of a change in the relationship between employees and employers, especially when it comes to Gen Z. So, for example, Gen Zers are much more likely to catfish their position or silent quit. So
Silent quit.
there's some evidence that Gen Zers are more likely to get hired in and then just not show up if they get hired because there's a perception that the job is different than what they thought it might be, or just generally not happy with the position once they get started. So then you get down to the silent quitting where you're technically employed, but either you do the absolute bare minimum of what that position requires and you don't really put much effort into it, or you just kind of ghost your employer. much more common among younger generations than older generations.
Brian, what generation are you, Brian?
Boomer.
You're a boomer. So what is the boomer reaction to this?
Well, I ain't happy about it. I was like, you should be grateful you got it, Joe. But it is, I mean, we do watch social media. I mean, like companies watch their name and it's like, boy, you pop up that name. So that seems like that'd be a rather dangerous thing to do.
Yeah, to really. Chris, is there anything that boomer CEOs like Brian Greene should be doing to counter this? Are you there?
If there's anything to counter it, I would. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can now. Yeah, we can. We can hear you. Yeah.
Oh, so sorry about that. It looks like my connection went out for a second.
Yeah.
So most definitely, if there's anything that you could do, of course, being upfront about what the expectations of the roles are, but just in terms of the job market in general, I would say definitely avoid any kind of ghost posting, because right now Gen Zers and millennials are applying for positions that don't exist. You're finding that a lot of companies are starting to put up positions that are only there for symbolism, to say that the firm is growing, when indeed it's really not. There's really no intent of the company to even fill the position.
That is a real
but
thing.
Also, to of course, good compensation and
yeah.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes, that is a real thing.
Wow.
That is extremely common, that about 1 out of 4 positions right now are not even real positions.
1 out of 4.
Wow. Chris, I'm going to leave you with a holiday question. I know that your family used to hang up stockings by the chimney with care. And I'm wondering, what was your favorite candy that you'd find in those stockings?
Oh, my family used to just load them up with Polish chocolate. My family is from Poland, so anything like EYL or something like that it was absolutely amazing. And I still get it from my family.
And is Polish chocolate pretty good?
Yes, it is. And the company has been around for quite some time. Polish chocolate is excellent. And Polish people tend to put fruit in a lot of things.
Oh, wow.
So you'll oftentimes find it with some kind of like fruit filling or something like that. But my son, of course, has taken a big liking to it as well. So he specifically asked my mother and father, my father he calls Jaja, which is grandfather in Polish. Where's the Polish chocolate or Polish chocolate? Always asking for it.
Wow,
so.
Very good. Chris Gulesa is out of the Baker Institute at Rice University, and he is our Dr. Data. Thanks, Chris, so much, and happy holidays. We'll talk to you soon. All righty.
Talk to you soon. Take care.
All righty. He's on a little bit of a delay there, I think.
Yeah, I think he's in Australia today. Is the issue.
He's working. He's dissatisfied with his job. 48%
he's
people
ghosted them.
So Steve Ives is up next with us. He's the CEO from the YMCA. We'll be with him right after this quick musical break.
Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry.
Steve Ives is with us here on Growing Up in America. Steve is the president and CEO of YMCA of Greater Houston. Steve, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great today. Thank you.
Very good. Brian and I were pretty excited to get to talk to you because I know you're going to, you could talk about so many things, Steve, but you're talking a little bit about loneliness. And during this holiday season, it's a big deal in America, isn't it?
Yeah, you would think it wouldn't be, right? Holidays, family, celebration. And I think part of all of that shines a light on people who are experiencing loneliness and almost exacerbates the damage, harm, and fear that gets created by it.
And is it people that are sort of on their own, or is it even when you have your families around? Is that lonely? How does that loneliness sort of where does it surface?
Yeah, I think when we talk about loneliness, it's about being isolated from others, and that can happen in a family that's dysfunctional or in relationships that are dysfunctional. You're just isolated in distance, right? So people crave and need and require this deep connection with other human beings, and I think that that can take all sorts of forms. It can take the form of I've been in my house and haven't been out, haven't seen anybody. I'm a remote worker, and so I just don't go to the office and have these natural kind of connections and interactions with people. Or suffering some mental illness that makes it very difficult for me to interact with others.
Say Steve and Brian here. Hey, for the majority of the population, how we're doing this to ourselves. We're self isolating. But people, are they turning that around? Or are they just like, fixing, no, get out with people more and you won't feel so lonely?
Yeah, it's like telling someone to calm down. Has never worked to help people to calm down ever in the history of calming down. And so I think us telling people get out and just go try harder is going to have limited to minimal to no results. I think as we create spaces, opportunities, enticing reasons why people can be in the same space as other human beings and have share common interests or common projects. And to me, that's what I'm so excited about, because that's something we can actually do something about. I've always been a believer that in the social services, we don't change people's lives. We create the conditions within which they're able to change their lives. So we begin to focus more and more on creating conditions where people can or have to interact with other humans while they're going about their day-to-day life, then they will help themselves become less lonely.
Steve, this morning I went to the YMCA downtown where I go, and I went 6 a.m. I walk in, and the young woman at the desk is always very friendly and sort of, and I would think if I were a super lonely guy, just the idea of the staff at the front desk sort of greeting me very joyfully, which I think happens 75% of the time, right? I know you would say it has to happen 100%, but it happens, it depends who it is, right? And so, but generally the people there are super happy. And I feel like it's something that within our own environment, right? And you at the YMCA, you can do things, right? That could sort of alleviate, even if it's just a little bit, because for some people, all they need is a little bit, right? And is that something that you guys talk about at the Y, sort of as
all
you
the time.
greet people? Yeah, talk a little bit about that. What should we be telling our own employees around this?
This is the message I've shared with our staff team and continue to bring back around and resurface. You never know if the next conversation you're going to have with someone, the next interaction you're going to have with someone is the interaction that makes all the difference. You talk to people who have picked themselves up out of bad circumstances or unhealthy they will look back and say, someone asked me this question and it was a turning point for me. And so if we hold every interaction with another human being as if it could be the one that makes all the difference for that other person, I think that intentionality takes the pressure away, because you don't know for sure, but it certainly creates that intentionality about our interactions with other human beings. And that goes beyond just from where we work. It's a big deal in the workplace. And in the grocery store, you hear stories all the time about a life-changing event for someone because, for instance, someone asked them how they were in a certain and actually listened to them and cared that they weren't doing so well.
And it's easier in Texas. It's easier in Houston to be friendly, right?
Yeah.
Because we see a little bit more of it. Having lived in New York and having lived in the Northeast, sometimes you're looked at, like, why are you being friendly to me?
What are you trying to do to me?
But
what do you want from me?
But in Houston, you could do that. I mean, we can. Exactly. It's very easy for us to say, "Hey, how's it going? Hey, nice to see you," and those things are meaningful. And Brian, you see this at the food bank all the time. You guys sort of are very intentional about this.
Very aggressive about doing that. Yeah, it's trying to make that a really positive experience, both as interaction with the neighbors that we serve, and especially when you're talking about people that they can be going through a lot of pain. Mm-hmm. And so the last thing you want to be is the scissors that cuts the last thread. So that's motivation right there. Like, how do we be a pick me up? Then it's like, how do we have the volunteers be thrilled and want to do this again?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I want to thank you, Steve, for the work that you and your team do at the Y, and it's extraordinary. But it's time for us to do some fun holiday questions with you, Stephen.
Okay.
And what was your favorite holiday tradition growing up as a kid? And you grew up in Maine, right?
Yeah, I grew up in Maine, and we would always open the stockings. And it was a love-hate relationship with this, because of course I'm anxious to get the rest of the presents. But in our family, you open the stockings, then you go make waffles and have a nice big breakfast. and then you start opening presents.
Oh, that's killer for a kid, isn't it? That's hard.
It's killer, but also, delayed satisfaction is, makes it even sweeter.
Wow. I was the kid. I had no patience. I was the kid that had already opened up all the gifts and then rewrapped them so that I would know what I was getting.
Really?
Oh yeah, I was absolutely that child. So
that never even occurred to us.
Yeah. Well, you're a better man than I. You're a better kid, at least.
I don't know about that, but
what? You have a fun question for?
Well, I just wanted, especially when the cold, frozen tundra of Maine. What was your favorite winter activity?
Oh, I was a skier and a sledder, getting out and just being one with the snow and moving and active. And if you're skiing, you're in the mountains. If you're on a hill, you're experiencing the excitement and thrill of cold air in your face. And then the interaction with other people around all of that was my favorite outdoor activity.
And here's the best question of all. Your favorite holiday song, Stephen Ives.
Oh, Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
So sentimental. Stephen,
when you
think
we
about
actually,
Stephen Ives, you think
that song
sentimental.
came on just after my mother-in-law died. We were in the car, and it was like, it got us laughing at a time we needed some lightness in our life.
Wow, that's good. I'm glad you laughed. Yeah,
Mhm.
That was good. Stephen, are you going anywhere for the holiday season?
Heading back to Boston. My youngest daughter
Mhm.
is actually hosting for the first time. So we have booked a room in her second bedroom in her apartment and are going to be there for the holidays.
Yeah.
You had to book the room.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Well, it was kind of fun. I called her up 2 or 3 months ago and said, we're looking for a place to stay over the holidays. Can I book the second bedroom? And so I got a reservation number and everything.
Stephen Ives is the president CEO over the YMCA Greater Houston, doing great work over there. Stephen, thank you so much. Happy holidays. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All righty. You've been listening to Growing Up in America. Brian Greene from the Houston Food Bank. I'm Bob Sanborn from Children at Risk. And we will see everyone next time here on Growing Up in America.
I hopped off the plane at LAX with a dream, my cardigan. Welcome to the land of fame excess. Am I gonna fit in? Jumped in the cab, here I am for the first time. Look to my right and I see the Hollywood